Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. Hope you're having a great Monday evening out there. Thanks for joining us here on our 10 Tampa Bay Plus streaming app. I'm going to talk a little bit about the tropics today, but before we get there, we actually have some pretty good thunderstorms across the area. Hardee, DeSoto, Highlands County saw some. We had a severe thunderstorm warning for Hardee and DeSoto earlier. These storms have weakened quite a bit, but there's still a really good one here near Wauchula. And that's probably producing a little bit of hail. I mean, we can estimate it here on the radar, and we're seeing just about, I'd say it's about half an inch or so, 0.6. So a little bit of hail falling out of that. There's a good amount of lightning there as well. So that's something that we want to keep an eye on. We had a bolt earlier that basically reached almost 20 miles outside of the storm. So yeah, these storms were bigger earlier. They are starting to weaken just a little bit. If we look at the cloud tops now, there's still some pretty good ones out there near Wauchula. That storm almost 50,000 feet tall. And the taller, the stronger, and the better chance it has hail. Not only hail, but also gusty winds, 55, 60 mile per hour winds. Now, if that were the case, we'd have a severe thunderstorm warning. I think it's just below that, but winds in the 40s, maybe even lower 50s out of that storm in Wauchula, it's possible, yeah, along with obviously some heavy rainfall. But I don't at this point have any severe thunderstorm warnings to show you. So that's the good news there. We've had some pretty good amount of rain, though, I can tell you that. Look at all those brighter spots in the blue there in Hardee County, DeSoto County. Look at this, east of Brownville. 2.5 inches. You get out almost towards the Highlands County line there, just north of State Road 70, and you're pushing 3 inches of rain that has fallen, 2 to 3 in that complex of thunderstorms that's out there. So things are starting to waken up a little bit as far as the rain chances go for us, which great weekend, right? It was looking really good. Pretty much dry all the way through the weekend, but as you can tell, these are going to move their way back towards the coastline. And of course, it's going to be eastern Sarasota and eastern Manatee, but I think it gets up in the southwestern Polk County, eastern Hillsborough, well, Hillsborough and Pinellas. Now, I don't think it's completely solid. I don't think it all makes it all the way to the coast. Certainly, if you live at the beach or anywhere up and down the Sun Coast all the way up through Pinellas, even Pasco County, very small rain chance, but it's there. All right, especially Sarasota, there is a chance there. I think a lot of this will fall apart before it gets there. So that's that. And I will touch back on that here in just a little bit. I just wanted to start with that because, well, you know what? I also wanted to show you this. Let me see if I can get this camera up here. Look at this sunset out there. Take that full, guys, if you can, please. Look at that. That is our Ascent building. We have a west-facing one and an easterly-facing one. Obviously, this is the westerly one, looking off towards the sunset. That's the first sunset of autumn. Fall officially started today at 2:19 p.m. That's when the autumnal equinox occurred. So the sun's rays were directly over the equator at 2:19 p.m. today. And we're tilting away from the sun as we rotate this time of the year around the sun as we orbit the sun. So that means we're going to get lower sun angles. That's why you get cooler temperatures. In fact, we're technically closer to the sun in the wintertime than we are in the summertime. But because we have more direct sunlight over us in the summertime, we're hotter. So it's pretty wild. Okay, let's get to the tropics here. I'm going to pull this one up. This is the bigger picture, and you're going to see that we've got a few things that we're watching, right? Category 4 Hurricane Gabrielle. Look at this thing just to the east of Bermuda. There's Bermuda. There's the center of Gabrielle. Bermuda, Gabrielle. Okay, I'll zoom in closer to that. We're watching this wave here. You see those clouds? That's going to possibly develop here. And then we're watching these clouds here that could possibly develop in the red hatched area that you see there, all right? We got a little wave that came off of Africa, nothing major with that one. So let's start with Hurricane Gabrielle. 140 mile per hour winds. Look at that eye wall. I mean, this thing is really, really impressive. It will continue to move off towards the north and the northeast, right around 12 miles per hour. It eventually will turn a little more to the east and pick up in speed, but pressure's 948. All of this as of 5 o'clock, and that was pretty similar to what we had. It got to Cat 4, excuse me, at 5 o'clock, but it came up just a little bit to get there from 2 o'clock up to 5 o'clock. So yeah, you could see that. And by the way, there's Bermuda where the M is. And when the last checked, I mean, winds were in the teens with gusts in the 20s, and I think there was a buoy somewhere out here that had a 40 mile per hour wind gust, which was probably in a thunderstorm. Okay, so Bermuda dodged another one. Obviously, it's a big surf maker. That will continue as we go through most of this week because we have not just that storm, but we've got these others that are going to try and get going. But this one's enough. I mean, we already have surf over on the East Coast. We're getting it on the, up and down the U.S. seaboard, really, eastern seaboard at this time. And, 140 mile per hour winds. Now, by Wednesday morning, it's still 110, 115. Right, Cat 3, which is a major hurricane. It's moving away, and it's definitely pulling some distance here. By that time, it's 1,500, 1,600 miles off the Outer Banks, but that's still generating swell, and that swell will propagate all to the west. So surfers are going to be loving it. This is the kind of storm you want as a surfer. It's way offshore. It's not too big, so it doesn't close out the waves. Sometimes they close out. You want to be able to ride down the wave, right? You don't want it all tubing at the same time. You want it to be open a little bit, and that will help that situation just a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at some of the numbers. Let me check here with the Hurricane Center just to make sure we have similar numbers. 30 and 80, yes, and 10 and 50. Yeah, they haven't changed anything yet. All right, so let's get to the first. Well, this is what I'm calling number 1 because it's leading, all right? That is this wave right here. It has a 50% chance of developing, especially when it gets near the Turks and Caicos and the eastern part of the Bahamas. All right, and that would be the end of this week. All right, same thing for this one, except for it has an 80% chance of developing somewhere in this red hatched area. But look, this is following behind Gabrielle. And Gabrielle, with all of that wind now, especially in this section, not as much here, but especially up here, is cooling the water. So we'll see, because there's going to be less energy for this wave to use when it gets up here. But it does look like the models say it develops. Now, the waves aren't super organized at this point. This back one does look a little bit better organized, just a little bit, than the front one. And that makes sense. That's why we've got 80% here and 50% here. But this is going to bring some rain through the northeast, Lesser Antilles, and even Puerto Rico will get some rain from this. But it does not look like it will be developing that particular time. So I think that's good. We're going to be watching the Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas by that time. All right, what are the models saying? Let's go to the European forecast model. I'm just going to show you this one. The deal is, this is, what I'm going to show you with these models is this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. All right, so 5 to 7 days. Models usually have a pretty good handle on things within that time. All right, doesn't mean that's exactly what's going to happen. So let's run it out through Thursday. All right, nothing big. Here is Gabrielle, and it went right past Bermuda and turned and went out here. Here's system number 2, the 80% chance. All right, this, and it's tough to even see anything here, that would be system number 1. All right, now watch system number 2. Looks like that one will develop sooner. And that's pretty decent. This is Saturday morning, okay? And then still nothing concrete here yet, right? So that's Saturday morning. Let's go out to Sunday afternoon, and here we go. We've got the second one, and then we've got that closing a low off right here. Now the GFS ramps it up pretty quickly because the GFS does some crazy things, and it runs it right into the Outer Banks. Ordinarily, I'd say the GFS is crazy because it kind of is a lot. However, that's the pattern. Right? Aaron went right by there. We just had basically a nor'easter go right by there and turn in and go into the Delmarva area, kind of do a loop, then come right back out. I mean, it's not unheard of, right? But here's the bottom line for anybody watching from Florida. Most of the modeling, including the AI modeling, curves it along the East Coast and takes it out, okay? It does not really get it into Florida. There are some models that do a couple of the runs, bring it towards Florida. I'm not concerned about that at this particular point. All right, I'll let you know if I am, but I'm not. This, by the way, is this coming weekend around 8 o'clock, 2 o'clock, excuse me, Sunday afternoon. Timing's going to change, whatever, but Sunday afternoon is where we're watching this, okay? So that's that one. Let me show you a little comparison here of the GFS and the European model. And I'm going to back it out here just a little bit so you get an idea of it. Showing things and then not showing things. Put another stop here. Okay, so this is this Thursday. All right, it's not showing a whole lot. This is the GFS in yellow and the European in red. Look at the European by Friday. That's system number 2. Okay, now look at it. The European really blows it up by Saturday. The GFS, it's trying to see something. This is the Turks and Caicos right here. Okay, so it's finally starting to see something. And then there we go. That's Sunday. So it's got a little bit further south, but it does have it going. And then the European has the second one going. By the way, Umberto is the next name, and then Imelda is the next name after that. I'll show you the list coming up here in a minute. But this is Monday, a week from today. GFS says something east of the Bahamas. Europeans out here. It's like the other one's not even picking up on it. But bottom line, you can tell if something's wrong with the GFS, the yellow lines, right? But you get the idea. Come up and curve. Come up and curve. That would be fantastic if that were to happen. All right, here's a look at the names, and then we'll come back and we'll talk our local forecast a little bit. As I mentioned, Umberto is next, Imelda, Jerry, and then everybody's favorite, Karen. All right, guys, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk the week forecast here. Our rain chances here locally are going up, not just tonight for some areas, but next couple days as well.
I was driving when an 18-wheeler turned in front of me. I locked up my brakes, bam, slid dead into the truck. Bloody and hurt, I was loaded into an ambulance, and that's when I put out my phone and called attorney Dan Newton. Dan jumped right on it. He was in my corner the whole way. He fought the fight from beginning to end and got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Dan, your awesome team deserves 6 stars. Thank you for winning my case.
Weather impacts your life every day. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. You can find out about any change in the weather with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just stream for the latest forecast, any weather impact alert, updated tropics forecast, and take a live look at the radar. Anytime you want, and it's free. It's just one more way we're helping you stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
And it's like a movie script. It's family rivalry, betrayal, and murder.
They cover America's most fascinating true crime stories.
One way or another, that's an execution.
Absolutely.
Every case.
Who would want to hurt him?
Every clue.
This is dynamite for an investigator.
Every mystery that keeps you guessing until the very end.
Does everyone's jaws drop?
Dateline, 5 times a week.
Watch weekdays at 4 on 10 Tampa Bay.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. You need quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
All right, welcome back. Today is the first day of fall, as I told you at the top of the show. The autumnal equinox occurred at 2:19 this afternoon. Take a look at what that really means. We can give a specific time for it because it's the physics. We can actually measure where the sun is, where the earth is, and how that tilt is related to each other. And we know that today at 2:19 p.m., the sun's rays were directly overhead of the equator. Now, you kind of think of it like it's always at the equator. Well, it is, but it's at different angles, right? And today at 2:19, it was directly overhead. What's happening is we're going around the earth, the earth is going around the sun, and because the earth is on a tilt, sometimes we're leaning towards the sun or away, sometimes we're leaning towards the sun, okay? And that makes our seasons. That's the whole thing. So the autumnal equinox that occurred today is basically the beginning of fall in the northern hemisphere, which means in the southern hemisphere, south of the equator, it is the beginning of spring for them. So they're just coming out of winter. And today those lights were just on top of it. The sun rays were just on top of that. So our days will get shorter, our daylight hours, I should say. Days stay the same, but the daylight hours do get shorter. 7:19 was sunrise, 7:26 was sunset for today in Tampa area, okay? Now, the temperatures. This is the hard part about living in Florida because, personally, I even like the summertime showers and thunderstorms, right? It's really cool for me. But after a while, the heat and humidity, it's like, okay, it's enough. We're ready for the fall to get in here. But unfortunately, when everybody up north gets all that nice, cool, and dry air, we get little tiny tastes of it for a while. And really, that's September. The average high temperature right now in September, is 90 degrees. And by the end of the month that you can see here, October 1st, it's 89 degrees. So it really doesn't drop much. All right. It's 91. That's the highest the average high is from June 12th through September 14th. All right. And then on the 15th, we come down to 90, and then by the 1st of October, so we're about 89 degrees. Now, October, on the other hand, has the largest drop in temperatures, in average high temperatures of the year. Okay, we go from 89 on the 1st down to 82 on November 1st, so it's a 7-degree drop. It's a 6-degree drop in November, and then 76 on the 1st of December. We go down to 71. It's a 5-degree drop into January. All right, so October's really the good month for us. It's coming. I always say November's coming, right? That's kind of my line because I can't tell you how many Halloweens I know are in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. But either way, we'll get through October, hopefully with no tropical concerns. By the way, we've got a launch. It's supposed to be tomorrow morning from Cape Canaveral, but it's now going to be on Wednesday morning, and it's at 7:32 in the morning. So if you're up, I think we should be clear enough. We will have a few clouds because of this trough kind of moving our direction, but I still think we should be able to see through some of those clouds to see the launch early on your Wednesday morning, at least 7:32 a.m. It'd probably take a little bit, about a minute, a little less than a minute for the Tampa area to see it after it launches. There's a live look outside as I was showing you. The sun is setting, 85 degrees. The dew point 73. So the first day of fall, it feels like 93 degrees at 8:16. That's Tampa. That is Tampa right there. Look at the temperatures that have cooled down south. Really, most of what you're seeing is the color coding there, but yeah, that's from the rain that is down there, okay? So it is cooling the numbers off because of the cooler air being dragged down. Remember, look, there was hail, a lot of hail in Hardee and DeSoto counties, and clearly that's got cold air with it. But 85 degrees right now in Tampa, 81 in Clearwater, 85 in St. Pete. It's warm out there. Now, here comes some cooling showers. Even if you don't get a shower, especially eastern Hillsborough County, Manatee, eastern Manatee especially, but Manatee, I think you might even get a little bit of rain out of this. We could get some in the Bay Area, but this should help cool temperatures down, especially along and south of I-4 here in the next half hour to an hour, because you can tell where these storms are. There's little outflows coming here that are going to give some cooler air. In fact, let's do this one. I'll zoom in a little bit, and we can see if we can see any of those little outflow bound. Oh, there you go. All right. So you see this Boeing thing right here? Starts here, goes out. That is all cooler air back behind that. Now, I think it's mixing up with this boundary right here. Okay? This is our chance for developing showers and storms this evening. Right here from Waimama down to Sun City Center to Manhattan and Willow. The boundaries are coming together right there to probably end up being a little bit to the east of it first. So not quite to Duet, but west of Duet. And this will extend up into eastern parts of Hillsborough County and certainly down through Manatee and Sarasota, especially this Manatee County area right here, Lakewood Ranch. I would suspect we have some showers and storms developing. You see what's popping up here? Watch behind it. So you're going to see this outflow boundary come in this direction, and then these little ones pop up behind it. That is going to be happening here. Okay, so but we can use a little bit of rain. Right? It's going to get a little dry out there, but those boundaries will collide. We will have a decent chance for some rain out there this evening. I don't see anything severe out there right now. Wauchula still has one heck of a storm, I can tell you that. But that is starting to come down a little bit in intensity. Let's look for some hail here. Yeah, there's some hail, but not a lot. That's about a third of an inch. So anything over 3/4 of an inch is going to get you a severe thunderstorm warning. All right, that's nickel plus size hail. All right, so that's fine for now at least. And again, we haven't had any velocity issues, and by that I mean no rotation out there, which is really good news. We don't want any tornado warnings. But I did want to show you the 3D look at it because these things have really started to calm down a little bit. And when they peak, they're peaking over 50,000 feet. We had one that was 56,000 feet. The freezing levels, you go up at 13,000 feet or so. I'm just guesstimating. I haven't looked at the sounding today, but that's usually where it is in this ballpark. Everything from 13,000 to 56 is below freezing. That's a lot of area to make hail. And that's why we had the big hail maker that we had out there this afternoon. All right, let's talk about those rain chances increasing. Here's the forecast model coming to the west for tonight. And you can see not all of that makes it to the coast, all right? But there'll be some spots with those boundaries coming together, and then behind that we get these pop-up showers. Sarasota and Manatee, you will have the better chance of seeing some rain. I think even out on Longboat Key, probably get a couple showers. And then tomorrow we'll start dry, and look at this. We will have typical sea breeze showers and thunderstorms that form around 1:30, 2 o'clock along the coast. Light winds, so they blow inland. Yeah, that is the second day of fall. It's the first full day, and that is a really summer-like pattern. When we come back, I'm going to go over that, and I'll talk about the rain chances next couple of days and a cold front for the weekend. Yeah, kind of. I'll show you that coming up. Weather impacts your life every day. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. You can find out about any change in the weather with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just stream for the latest forecast, any weather impact alert, updated tropics forecast, and take a live look at the radar. Anytime you want, and it's free. It's just one more way we're helping you stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
Jeopardy is for everybody.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah.
With players just like you.
Paramedic, a retired teacher, psychiatrist.
I'm a little bit competitive.
That's the spirit.
Watch their victories.
We have a giant killer.
And heartbreaks.
Oh, no.
The next super champion could be anyone.
It's almost like a superhero origin story.
It could be you.
Oh, wow.
It's all happening on Jeopardy!
Jeopardy weeknights at 7:30, right here on 10 Tampa Bay.
I was driving when an 18-wheeler turned in front of me. I locked up my brakes, bam, slid dead into the truck. Bloody and hurt, I was loaded into an ambulance, and that's when I put out my phone and called attorney Dan Newton. Dan jumped right on it. He was in my corner the whole way. He fought the fight from beginning to end and got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Dan, your awesome team deserves 6 stars. Thank you for winning my case.
Before hurricane season hits, it's time to prep your home. Secure outdoor equipment and generators. Clear debris from around your AC unit and schedule a pre-storm HVAC and electrical inspection.
Those are some great tips. And Cool Today is here to help you weather the storm. For over 60 years, we've been here to help Floridians with their cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. We can help you prepare, protect, and repair your home. Call 888-40-TODAY.
All right, welcome back. Let's talk those showers and storms for your Tuesday. Not a lot, but certainly a good 40% chance. Just think kind of summer. Some people will get it, some people won't. But you can see by about 4:30 in the afternoon, we're seeing those storms inland, mainly east of I-75, and then 1 or 2 of them come back towards the coast by 7:30, 8:30 in the evening. That's about 7 o'clock right there. And then we're done. Pretty typical. Then as we get into Wednesday, same setup. I went 40% on Tuesday and then 30% on Wednesday because that's drier looking. But after what we've seen today, and especially Manatee and Sarasota County, I think you've got a better chance for showers and thunderstorms. So a solid 40 to almost 50%, especially south of I-4 for Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we'll go 40%, especially south of I-4. But I think it is moving up just a little bit. So a couple days with some afternoon showers and thunderstorms. That's what it boils down to. I'm trying to get really into the weeds with the details there. Tomorrow, we're going to go warm. Now, this says 90, but there'll be a peak time in there where we get to about 91, 92 degrees for a daytime high. And the better chance for showers and storms starts after 1:30. And then and then they'll move inland if you're watching from Pinellas or Hillsborough by about 5 o'clock, and then they'll come back. 1 or 2 of them will come back 7:30, 8 o'clock in the evening hours. So typical summer. Now, boating even looks good. I mean, east winds to the west, 5 to 10 knots, and most of the modeling that I saw was less than 10 knots. So I went smooth out there on the bay. It's just a little bit of a sea breeze coming in the afternoon. 84 degrees in the water right now, which is good. I mean, it's good enough to warm. I mean, it's warm enough to swim, and 80 is the magic number for tropical systems. You'd like that to be in the 70s so that anything tropical coming at us would weaken before it got here, but that's pretty average for this time of the year, 84 degrees. Okay, here's a look at the rain expected the next several days, and you can see the coverage here. As I mentioned, I might bump it up a little bit for tomorrow. Not a whole lot. You can see, especially inland by the time we get towards Wednesday. But there is some drier air in the mid-levels coming through as we get into Thursday and Friday. And so you can see the coverage has dropped. So 20% along the coast, maybe 30% for inland locations. All right, not a lot. But look at Saturday. Oh, Saturday has a cold front. So, in fact, I'll just back this up just a little bit. You can see Thursday night, early Friday morning, we had some dry air out ahead of it. But as we move into Saturday morning and in the afternoon, showers and storms, clouds, southwest winds, it's warm, it's gonna be muggy. Yeah, that looks like Saturday right now. So I would say mostly cloudy, rain chances a good 50% for Saturday afternoon especially. Then Sunday, how much of that front can get through here? You see the model suggests the best chance for rain is south of Florida, or south of Tampa. All right, Lake Okeechobee area. I-4 is sitting right in here, so a few showers around. I think either way, we still have clouds, okay? We'll get some sunshine, but there's also going to be some rain around. Look what the European model has right here. That's system number one, the farthest west. It's got the low sitting right there and dragging off towards the northwest. So this actually helps us because the flow around the backside of that will come in out of the north and the northwest, and that usually drags drier air in here. And watch what happens. That moves away. It's sitting up here. In fact, I can zoom out here a little bit. Look at that. That's the European forecast. Oh, this must be the GFS. Don't tell me somebody changed this. Might be the GFS. But either way, one of the models is showing the moisture on the coast right there. And then you can see the moisture down to the south. So, you know, obviously tropical moisture is being thrown into the Carolinas. There's some dry